this guy goes here. Just screw it back on. All right, so we're here today at this one client's house over here in Point Loma, and we're going to automate one of these valves here. It's going to be this valve right here. Going to make it battery operated timer. All right, so we're going to change this valve here only to battery operated timer, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this brass valve out. Well, first I'm going to try. Actually, there's a union down here. There's just one, so I think I might be able to spin it off. So let me try that first. Let me try that first. I'll take this guy off right here. Gives me a little more spinning room. I think I might be able to get off. So unfortunately, I'll need to cut it out. Hopefully. So one thing about the unions, if you have two unions, no problem. Sometimes you just have one, there's a little problem to it, but okay, so I'm gonna hold this guy right here, so I spin it a little bit. So whenever you're spinning it off, you just gotta put pressure on the, I'm gonna try it with this crescent wrench. Whenever you try to spin it off, you gotta pull pressure on the opposite way if you're spinning it, right? You always wanna make sure you're holding your pipe here. I'm okay now to hold it by hand, but always make sure you're holding the pipe because you don't want to break it and then you got another problem. So that's the whole idea. You don't want. Yep. Forgot about that. We need to shut that water off. Okay, got that off now. All right, so we got this off now. Still need to use this part. Not this valve, but this filter and regulator. Okay, so we're not going to use that anymore. Still going to use this. I'm going to put. The important thing to do is, okay, so this guy and this guy right here, right? That makes this even here. Okay, that's what we got to always do. Keep in mind, we always got to make sure that when we're putting in our unions or whatever, or risers here, it's always got to come out even. So if not, you're not going to be able to do it. So I'm going to build this first with unions on it. Okay. So let me just set that up there. And the other thing too, when you have unions, always make sure they have this O-ring in there. Every once in a while, you might find one that doesn't. So just make sure that's going to seal it up there. So just make sure you always have that O-ring in there. Okay, so we're gonna put some Teflon on these guys. These are 3/4 inch by 2 inch risers. So depending on your situation, usually you use these 2 inches, and sometimes you need to make the valve higher, so you're just gonna make, just get some whatever you need to make it go higher. And the standard is for the anti-siphon valves is to be at least a foot above the ground. So these are okay. If you go higher than that's okay. I'm going to oops. That's how it's going to spin. And okay, so we're going to get that on there. That first. Okay, then we're going to get this guy. That. You can push that in there like if you want. So I'm hand tightening first. And then I'm going to do a little bit more with channel locks. Yeah, I'm gonna do this right here. So always make sure you put this in there before you start tightening, because then you gotta start all over again. So we're kind of tightening this a little bit with a wrench. Channel locks. Okay. Just grab a little bit of this one. Right, it's good. Alright, so then we gotta do this guy here first, too. Alright, that on there. Do this guy right here. Right. All right, so I'm going to put this part back on here like this. Okay. Then I have this, guys. This on here.
It's actually pretty tight here. Alright, so.
Okay, so you see how that's even right there? Same thing here, even, right? And this is a little bit wide right here, so we're gonna have to play with this. I mean, this is a little wider than the other valves, so these are kind of closer. But since it's higher, it's kind of up there, you're able to kind of, open it up. So that's another thing. We always try to, when we see, how the pipes are like this and how this valve is, the valve is like, makes it tighter. We usually try to get a valve that's going to be just as wide as this. We're changing it out. But under this circumstances, because you see how much wider this is. Under this circumstances, they don't have the valves that we're using with the battery operated timer. They're just going to be just this one right here. So anyway, it's going to work. So we'll do is we'll do this one first, right? We'll get this right here like this. We'll get that in here. Okay. Got it. There we go. So snug a little bit in there. The hands, and then we'll come back and tighten it up. Okay. And then, see, we've got the flexibility there, right? See? And Okay. Now, if it doesn't go in smoothly, if it doesn't, for some reason, it's not going in smoothly, just start over again, because you don't want to strip the threads. You don't want to cross thread the threads. Okay, so it went pretty good. Okay, so I'll just come back here, hold this like this, tighten it up a little bit. Okay, same thing here. Okay, you're all good. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this filter back on in here. We'll pressurize it, make sure this is all closed up right. Actually, let's just show you this part first, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do on this top part. So just make sure all the bleeders are off. The bleeders completely turned, and that's a little part right here. This little guy right here. This actually bleeds it and turns it on. This right here too, also where the solenoid is. So make sure it's on the off position all the way. And then, so we're going to go ahead and turn it, pressurize it, and see if there's any leaks. Okay. So usually when you start up a valve, usually what it does is it's still on a mode of on. The diaphragm is not closed yet. Once the water goes and pressurizes it, then it'll close down, so you don't have to worry about that initially. You're gonna hear something go on, and then in a few seconds it'll go off, it'll shut down. Okay, so you're looking at it, I'm looking at it, I don't see anything, I don't see no leaks. Wait a little bit, and just to make sure, but it all looks good. That's all good. But I will try this on now. This is right now. It's pressurized to this point, and then once the diaphragm opens up, it'll come down this. So I'm gonna try that on. But I'm gonna just think we're all good here for sure on this side. This good thing. All right, so I'm gonna try it on manually. Just make sure this is tight right here. This is all tight. All right, so I'm gonna try it on manually. Let's turn this on counterclockwise. Okay, everything looks good so far. All right. It's on, it's good. We'll turn it off. Okay, now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna shut off the main water line for the irrigation, because I'm gonna take this off right here. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so when you buy a battery operated timer, okay, in this particular model here, it has its own solenoid. Okay, see, it's all hardwired. Okay, this is you're gonna pull this guy out, and okay, save that for your next job if you need it. That's going to go in there, but what I'm going to do first, I'm going to put the batteries in first. Okay, so basically this unit just takes the regular 9-volt battery and just put it in accordingly. That takes 2 of them, and there you go. Okay, we're gonna open this up. This is a cover, and you can see it's already got stuff on the screen. That's already good right there, so I know it's gonna work. I just gotta program it. Okay, then what I like about this, it has like a little thing you can. I'll show you that right now. But so this guy goes here. Just screw it back on. Screw it on there. Make sure it's going in right. You don't want to cross thread it. Okay, it's going in right now. Okay. All right. Then you got this little guy right here, where you can put like this. And it goes right there, that, right? And then this holds it. Okay. So like that, right? Cover right here. And this cover here. And that. So this is all waterproof. You don't have to worry about this cover, and it's all sealed tight. I'm not gonna go with the program for you. I'm just gonna do that, but it comes with instructions whenever you're buying a timer. And I just kind of wanted to tell you too, if you're not familiar with it, it's your first time, read the instructions. But if you have a heart, if you still not understand it, the one thing about these companies that's really good is that they have technicians that you can call. They have an 800 number. You can call them, and they're really good. They're really patient, and they'll walk you through it. What's good about the companies that provide that way to get to the technicians. I'm gonna go over here to the area that it waters, and so it's a drip system, and we've dug the main water line to find out where it was at, so that way we can tap into these plants that are not being watered. There's about like 15 plants altogether that are not being watered with the system, so we're gonna tap into that and get that going. Basically, what you do here when you're having everything's covered up, and normally the main water half-inch line is just barely buried, and it's under this bark here. You don't usually find it deep because it's not a pipe that's real thick. It's kind of thin, but so that's why you don't bury it deep, says, and if you do that it could collapse. So what we did is we looked for the plants that had the spaghetti line already, and we followed that to the main line. And this is how you can do it. Just follow the water line that's already, the spaghetti line that's already feeding a plant, and then you follow it, and then that's how you find it. So we've got here, change already made to go to this plant here, this fig tree, and so that's how you find out where your main line is. You just follow the spaghetti line, and then you'll find it.